Yeah, Jerobi looking like he tried to out-pizza the Hut. Welcome. I'm Sugarwater, and it's time to finish off the series of reviews that I started months ago and finish the Legacy of Goku trilogy. No, I don't count Transformation. This trilogy is interesting to talk about because growing up in the Toonami era of Cartoon Network, DBZ only semi-recently hitting the US officially, I remember these games being everywhere. And yet, if you recall, I thought LOG was pretty mid, but entertaining enough. LOG 2 was better, but not the best. And you can't recall my opinion about Buu's Fury because I haven't told you yet. Slow down. For my reviews, I generally don't take development history or circumstances into account, because while I do love knowing these things, I'm more concerned with the actual end product that was put out. A bad game's a bad game, even if its development was super cursed. The end result is still bad. It's like when a show adds important canon details in a podcast or something, but like, that wasn't in the show, that's not part of the show. I'll admit I'm going into this with a bit of nostalgia. Now, while I never played these games as a kid, I'm about to get crucified for this, the Buu saga might be my favorite one. Listen. Okay, the first time I watched Goku go Super Saiyan 3, being a kid at the height of their Dragon Ball obsession, I lost my damn mind. Plus, I just love Buu so much. He's perfection. Fight me. Buu's Fury, the final game in the trilogy, despite not sharing the LOG title. Is it good? Is it deserving of that 62 on Metacritic? Do we still get a crunchy GBA compression FMV opening? No. We don't get an FMV opening, but it's still an alright first impression. We got this clean logo, got the blonde boys here, and Buu looking perfect as he tends to do. And you know me, I gotta look at the options, and there's sound effects volume, music volume, and thank God we got text speed. You know I'm cranking that all the way up. Also got an option to view the credits, which I appreciate. Let's hop in though, and we even got a multiplayer option. Okay, get some link cable action going on maybe. Too bad I got no friends.
The gang's all here.
Got multiple save files, I like that. We got a quick recap of the last game, but it's not very in-depth, so not the best. Since that means anyone not familiar with the previous games or the source material would be entirely lost. Now, you might be saying, well, Sugar, why would anyone have bought this game if they weren't already fans? But to that I say, it's still not good design. Games are meant to be playable as standalone experiences, even if they're part of a series. They should still be able to be understood and enjoyed, and as a result be a possible inroad for those people to get into the series or source material. This recap is throwing around names and concepts with the assumption that you already know very well what they all mean. The recap ends with foreshadowing about the coming threat, while this veiny sack looks at me like it's gonna follow me home. Ugh. We kick off taking control of Goku up on Snake Way. The presentation and style so far are much better than the last two games. Got some great looking sprites, character portraits have come such a long way, and even the text boxes feel extremely Dragon Ball. Controls are the same as the previous game. Move with the D-pad, run by double tapping a direction, melee attack with A, B uses the selected special attack, L cycles specials, and R is your guard. I never used most of these in combat, and I'll explain why in a bit. For now, we gotta mosey on over to King Yama. To get to our current destination, the Grand Kai's planet, we gotta catch a ride on the higher plane. Alright, that's it. Reviews over. 10 out of 10 game. Our plot here actually starts with the Kai tournament arc of all things. You'll see later on, but this game is wild with how it ties parts of the anime and movies into the main plot. So this is our higher plane. Yo, I wouldn't get on this thing right now. Planes are crashing every day, and this old boy looks like it was made at Dollar Tree. By some miracle, we arrive alive. Already the characterization is way stronger in this game. Even all the NPCs have somewhat unique portraits and interesting things to say that make them feel like genuine characters. Got King Kai over here drooling on the Grand Kai's whip. Speaking of, I've always loved the Grand Kai, man. He's just the chillest old dude. He's so great. So the winner of this tournament gets shortlisted for private fighting lessons with the Grand Kai, which normally takes 10,000 years or more of training to even be considered. So taking the W here is a big deal. To start things off, we were told to head through the forest forest and gain some advice from other fighters. And of course, the advice is actually useful explanations of controls and mechanics. There's even a guy who remarks that it's weird that everyone is talking about pressing the A button like this is a video game or something. This is a good tutorial. It's not obtrusive in the slightest and something you can completely blow right past if you're a returning player. It gives you the tools and knowledge you need, but doesn't force it on you if you want to jump right in or already know your way around the game. Plus, it integrates it in a narratively fitting way using the context of gaining wisdom from other fighters. This is also where we get introduced to a full equipment system. We finally are in proper RPG territory, lads. For all of the playable characters, we can equip a body piece, a leg piece, an arm piece, and an accessory. In this case, we receive the 1-ton boots and 1-ton armbands. Both decrease your speed, but give you loads more XP for every enemy defeated. These also get upgraded versions up to like 200 tons. So power leveling in this game is just, oh, it's so beautifully streamlined. We'll get into stats and all that later, don't you worry. For now, let's get into some combat. Not a ton has been changed, but it certainly has been refined. This is so smooth now. Everything is much snappier, much quicker, much more accurate. Not to mention that now when killed, enemies explode into these showers of Zenny and sometimes items, which is just so satisfying, dude. If you time your attacks and movement, you can easily stun lock single enemies and just beat the hell out of them. Critical hits now also send enemies flying backwards and shake the screen dramatically, which is also pretty satisfying. Enemies even guard and use different tactics. Combat feels pretty good so far. On the other side of the forest is the first level gate, something returning from the previous game. You have to be a specific character that's indicated by the color of the number on the door, and that character also has to be the same level or higher than that number. I've already been grinding levels, so this door doesn't stop me, but the big metal door inside does. Naturally, I just try to open it, which of course doesn't work. Then I ram Goku's face into it for a bit because I don't know, I thought it was funny. And then I get a crazy idea. What if I tried to Kamehameha it open? And yeah, that actually works. Special attacks and abilities actually have utility outside of combat. That's some mechanical variation, and it's beautiful. It feels like the game's finally acknowledging that while puzzles and keys are great, these characters are walking WMDs, and there's no reason not to let them just smash through some things. Inside the door, there's another instance of mechanical variation, with Goku's instant transmission, being used to pop past this barrier and grab the chest inside. At this point though, I was drained on ki because of me screwing around in the forest, so I was worried I might be a bit stuck for a moment, but I tried to leave and instead the game stopped me, told me how to get past this barrier, and refilled my ki, preventing a soft lock as well as offering a helping hand if it wasn't clicking for you what you needed to do. That's a nice touch. There's already so much more care in this game. It really feels like the developer Webfoot was starting to gain noticeable experience with game design, and I love to see that. With the tutorial behind us, it's time for the tourney to start, and after the Kais are done with their pissing contest, it's time to fight against Pycon and his Doug Dimmadome ass hat. So what's a boss fight look like? Okay, maybe the second phase is more intense. Both these lads are holding back, so let's pop off at full strength. I'm sure that's just a fluke because it's the first boss. Let's just move on. Chapter 2 gives us control of the now 17, I think, year old Gohan. And man, I love that you can just walk around Goku's house. It never gets old for me. Your wandering is even rewarded by a Z Fighter exhibit you can find hidden in one of the rooms. We'll get to what those are near the end of the video. For now, the important thing is that there's so much detail and care taken in the environments. Most places are far more scaled down and condensed, and that's such a good thing. The last game was so expansive, but it also felt so empty. We gotta get moving though. Time to pilot Gohan over to school. Just like his father, Gohan stumbles into trouble as these bandits are robbing a bank, I think, and Gohan steps in. Of course, he doesn't want people knowing about his crazy ass powers, so he goes Super Saiyan to give himself a little disguise. Though I still think it's funny, he went Super Saiyan to beat up some normal dudes. This little spectacle starts the rumor of the Golden Fighter, a super-powered vigilante. Ain't got time for that though, we gotta get to class. Right after talking to this young lady who... Ma'am. Nah, I kinda get it. Rumors spread fast in this city because Gohan's classmates are already gossiping about the gold fighter, and Videl, being the sharp lass that she is already on to Gohan. Class ends, and it's time to go get the iconic disguise from Bulma, the true hero of humanity, the one and the only.
Hi-ya-ho! Here we go! I'm the man with the plan to uplift the good and root out the bad till we're living like we should. Hi-ya! Whoa-ho, uh-huh. Now you understand that I'm the... Great Saiyaman!
In case you were wondering, by the way, yes, you can still get infinite amounts of Mrs. Brief's cookies. They restore 5 points of health, and now's a good time to talk about those items. So this time around, we have tons of different healing items that restore varying amounts of HP and ki, and you can stockpile them. They're fantastically balanced though. Trust me, I tried to break the game with them, but it functions like potions in Pokemon, where you can't really get a hold of too many high-level items early in the game. They're really well balanced, and it doesn't really matter at all because, as you'll see in a bit, I found different ways to break the game that make any kind of recovery item pretty much unnecessary. Having said that, I appreciate all the effort here, man. Like, this is well done, and each item has its own fun description in addition to telling you what it does. Back to our story though. Time to dispense some vigilante justice onto the ne'er-do-wells and hooligans of Hercule City. A lot more care was given this time around to making enemies different. Some will block a lot and wait for an opening, some will try to maintain distance and use range attacks, and some of them will attack infrequently but use high-powered attacks. This is all made pointless pretty soon, but it's ambitious, and I respect it. Combat is satisfying and fun all the way through the game, by the way. That snappiness and refinement of combat I talked about before keeps it almost addictive. After beating enough cheeks, we gotta scoot to school, but once we get there, Videl has to dip out because, as Hercule's daughter, she gets notified of crimes and goes out fighting them. Gohan, being the gentleman he is, follows to make sure she stays safe, which it's a good thing he did because Videl bit off way more than she can chew here. This isn't related to anything, but I laughed really hard at this dude having a shirt that just says huge. The Great Saiyaman pops in right after Videl. Videl gets immediately folded, and as soon as the criminals are dealt with, she interrogates the Great Saiyaman about their identity. Gohan runs off, but stumbles upon a corrupt circus owner who did some poaching of the pterodactyl variety. Or is it a pterodon? Anyway, we off to the circus to steal back that stolen animal. It's not too much of a challenge, and on the way out, the circus folks roll up in an actual goddamn tank. How do you have this? This is also about the time where I had a fun little thought. Let's get nerdy for a sec and talk about the stat system. In Buu's Fury, all your characters start off right about the level where they would have been at the end of the previous game. With each level gained, you get 3 stat points that you can put into whatever stat you want. The only limit is that no stat can exceed your current level. So, for example, if you're level 77, it won't let you increase a stat past 77. You have 4 core stats: strength, power, endurance, and speed. Strength dictates how strong your physical attacks are, power is how strong your ki attacks are, endurance is your defense, and speed is movement speed. Speed can't be increased directly, but can be bumped up by equipment or things like going Super Saiyan, but the others can all be increased with stat points. As I said, this is about the time I had a little idea. What if I just dump everything into strength? So I started doing exactly that to see what happens. What happens is you solve the game. I kept this strat the entire way through the game, keeping all my character strength at the cap as they level. I had no need for blocking, no need for special attacks, no need for ki at all outside of mechanical uses, and you would think this would cause combat to feel boring, but it's actually really fun to me. Being able to just run through and one-shot most enemies actually makes me feel as powerful as these characters are supposed to be, you know? Getting back to Gohan, we free our little dino friend, and Videl subtly tricks Gohan into revealing his hero identity as the Great Saiyaman. She promises she'll keep it secret as long as Gohan enters the upcoming World Martial Arts Tournament. The poor people of this world, they just keep trying to enjoy a normal-ass martial arts tournament, but crazy shit happens every single time now. Goku brain phones in to tell Gohan Gohan that he's going to be allowed back to the world of the living for 24 hours so he can compete in the tournament and see his family. After informing everyone, we head back and talk to Goten. He wants to help Gohan train, which is just so wholesome. First though, we cut to King Yama's domain where a soul cleansing tank explodes, resulting in, that's right, it's Janemba baby, fitting chronologically into the main plot. I love this. We'll return to this when it's time though. Right now, let's enjoy this little minigame where Gohan has to avoid the stones thrown by Goten. There's a lot of these little bits in the game, and you'd think they kill the pacing and feel out of place, but you'd be wrong. They all fit well narratively, none of them overstay their welcome, and none of them function in an overly complicated way. They're not necessarily anything fun, per se, but they're neat, they're fine. Harnessing the power I gained through my life experiences dodging cars on the highway, the minigame is cleared, and I think Chi-Chi might be abusive. Apparently, she called Goten a monster when he went Super Saiyan for the first time, and goddamn, Chi-Chi, calm down. One scene transition later, and I'm now driving little Trunks in the gravity chamber. You all know the scene. Vegeta tells him to land a hit, Trunks lands a hit, but Vegeta hits back. Trunks is just a kid, so he starts crying, and even Vegeta is no match for the tears of his only son. So he promises to take Trunks to the park. For this, you actually have to chase down Vegeta and land a hit, and it took me a bit, because Vegeta is one slippery bastard here. After that, we're free to wander with Trunks, but I decided to head straight for the martial arts tournament, and since this isn't really going to fit in anywhere else, it's worth mentioning that the scouter and map functions are back. Nothing of any importance with the scanner, but having the map right off the bat is very nice. Moving on. On the airship headed to the tournament, it's agreed on by all the Saiyans that no golden hair will be used for this tourney, which means maybe humans like Krillin will have a sliver of a shot. We get to walk around with Trunks and Gohan, talk to everyone, get some nice low-stakes characterization, and if you talk to Hercule, it's the goddamn open-faced club sandwich. In the locker room, we meet these two strange fighters that Piccolo has a bad feeling about. That's probably nothing. The journey starts with the junior division, so back to Trunks, and we gotta fight through a survival-style set of 10 matches. They were all comically easy, and I have nothing to say about them. The power of punching and walls is absolute. You cannot escape, children. More importantly, look how absolutely massive Spopovich and Yamu are. Boy's been drinking the milk, goddamn. And we got this ultra-wide lad talking about how he's gonna prove that size matters. I'm being tested, folks. Oh god. The main event starts with us controlling Videl, surprisingly. After destroying Spopovich, he turns the tables with the power of plot armor, and I don't know why this is so funny to me. Now we got ourselves a quick little excursion as Goku to Korin's tower to grab some Senzu beans for Videl. Once that's done, it's Gohan time at the tournament. He's up against the mysterious Kibito, and in all the excitement, Gohan forgot his helmet, so entering the tourney as the Great Saiyaman basically just outed his whole ass secret identity. Good job, bozo. Not only that, he also decides to go Super Saiyan at the request of Kibito and Piccolo. Piccolo, having learned earlier that the competitor Shin is actually the Supreme Kai, and Kibito is his steward. This show of power prompts Yamu and Spopovich to hop in the ring and pull a Kirby on Gohan's energy, with the Supreme Kai telling everyone to just let it happen, since this will allow him to follow Spopovich and Yamu back to their master. Supreme Kai and the other Z fighters take off after them, while Gohan catches his breath and tries to catch up alongside Kibito, who fills him in on what's actually going on here. So this creepy short king Babidi is a wizard attempting to wake up his father Bibidi's ultimate creation, Majin Buu, a living embodiment of evil and destruction. I was far older than I should have been when I realized the wordplay here. Bibidi, Babidi, Buu. Look, I'm not the brightest crayon in the socket. Babidi needs massive amounts of energy to wake Buu up, and with what he gathered from Gohan, he is now much closer to that goal. But we also know where he is now. With all the Z fighters gathered, we confront Babidi and his henchman, the brainwashed Demon King Deborah. Since Babidi is able to use the evil in beings' hearts to control and empower them, it's crucial that only pure-hearted beings like the Z-Fighters confront him. Good thing there's no evil anywhere in them, huh? Demon King Deborah is powerful though, and using his spit, he turns a few of the Z-Fighters to stone and takes off into the depths of Babidi's ship alongside the wizard. By this point, I was already falling into a good rhythm, keeping all the characters I could power leveled way beyond what they should be, using the weighted boots and wristbands to boost XP, and dumping every point possible into strength. Most enemies were getting one-shotted and I was racking up Zenny like mad, which makes me think this is a good opportunity to talk about Z-Marts. Throughout the game, there's Z-Marts all with different stocks of items and equipment you can buy. You can even sell items to them, which further cements Buu's Fury as a proper action RPG. I never really bought anything or sold anything because I never had a need to, but it's good that it's there. Probably more useful if you're actually playing the game as intended instead of breaking its balancing like I am, but oh well. Even then, enemies drop tons of good gear, so I probably wouldn't be doing too much different other than actually using some of my healing items. Inside Bobity's ship, we have a few switches we need to hit to open the door to the next level. This is repeated on all the floors, with the layouts getting bigger as you get deeper inside. But there's not much else to say about it, with the exception of the last level, which has you finding pieces of the switches that you have to put back in order to trigger them. But it's fine. I haven't mentioned it yet, but this game is wonderfully paced. The last two games were extremely start and stop, with mandatory filler quests and just all around very bad pacing. This game, nah, super focused, always moving forward. I never once felt like I was just killing time till the next important event, and the only time I came close, I was happily surprised shortly thereafter. Each level of the ship has one of Bobity's mighty warriors at the end to stop us, 3 levels in total. The first of which, Pui Pui, goes down in one punch, and the second one, Yakon. I love the expressiveness of the sprites so much, oh man. For the final level, Deborah shows himself to greet us. It's Gohan's turn to fight, but he's just not as strong as he used to be. Despite beating Deborah like he owes me money, the story says Deborah is just toying with Gohan. Suddenly though, he calls off the fight and goes to speak with Bobity about something. I'm sure that's nothing to worry about. So that was indeed something to worry about. Turns out Vegeta decided to let Bobity amplify the evil in his heart in order to obtain power to finally defeat Goku. His single-minded obsession even overruling Bobity's mind control. The whole group is teleported back to the World Martial Arts Tournament. Majin Vegeta blows up a chunk of the crowd in attendance, and Goku agrees to fight him as long as they relocate to where no more innocent people will be harmed. This all works to Bobity's plan, attempting to harness the massive energy from their clash to wake up Majin Buu. While all this is happening, Gohan and the Supreme Kai rush back to Bobity's ship to try and destroy Buu before it's too late. This bit is very cinematic. As you fight Vegeta, the camera cuts back and forth from the fight to the Supreme Kai and Gohan. The fight itself is more of the same, not much to say about that, but the way it's presented is fantastic. The fight nears its end right as Majin Buu awakens. Despite Gohan and the Supreme Kai's best efforts, Buu lives again. As a kid, I was in love with this form of Majin Buu, probably partially because I was a very fat kid and had a lot of personal issues revolving around that, so seeing this beautifully chunky idiot be so powerful just hit different for me. And I mean, how can you not just love him? He's just so fun to watch. With Buu awake, both Goku and Vegeta feel his energy, and with some convincing, Vegeta agrees to postpone their fight for now. But then he knocks out Goku to go fight Buu alone. Great. I've been wrong every time, but now I'm positive this won't be a problem at all. Certainly not a problem that makes me cry over a tragic monologue. So Buu knocks around Gohan and the Kai, Deborah gets folded like origami, Vegeta blows up Bobity's ship and confronts Buu. This was the only time in my entire playthrough that I actually died. Buu hits hard here, and I royally fumbled my spacing and timing. It may be easy to find that stun locking rhythm, especially with max strength, but if you screw up with the strat even a little, you are cooked. Or at least that's what I thought caused me to die. Turns out there's actually boss fights with different mechanics. For this one, you have to actually knock out Bobity before you can even damage Buu. Once I figured that out though, the fight was over pretty fast, and now we get to that moment. If you know Dragon Ball, you know this scene. Watching it as a kid hit me like a ton of bricks, and watching it as an adult also hit me like a ton of bricks. And yeah, even in sprite form, this hits hard. Trunks flies down to Vegeta after he's soundly beaten by Buu, trying to encourage him and cheer him on. He thinks his dad is the strongest, the best, the prince of all Saiyans. He could never be beaten by this pile of bubblegum. But Vegeta gets to his feet and tells Trunks to take care of his mom for him. Vegeta calmly tells both Goten and Trunks to get far away from here. He realizes he hasn't held Trunks since he was just a baby. He pulls him in for a hug, tells him that he's proud of him, and knocks him out. Then he knocks out Goten and tells Piccolo to get them out of here. Then he says that line, "I do this for you, Trunks, Bulma, and yes, even for you, Kakarot." Vegeta releases all of his energy in a massive self-destructive blast that ends his own life, hoping to take Buu down with him. Shit, dude, for me, this might be the best moment in the entirety of Dragon Ball. This scene has been firmly planted in my brain for almost 2 decades. Even though it's been a long time since I rewatched DBZ, and as a result, a lot of the Buu saga is foggy for me, this scene is still there, and it hits so hard. Sadly, it's revealed that Vegeta's sacrifice was in vain. Buu's broken-ass regeneration capabilities allowing him to reform quickly, back at full power. Goku finally wakes up from his little nap, confused about where Vegeta and Gohan are since their energy is just gone, and heads to Kami's lookout for some answers. And this is when I discovered the ability to move text boxes carried over from the last game, and I spent a good couple of minutes just doing this. I'm not saying I'm easily amused, but this is peak right here. At Kami's lookout, a plan gets hatched by Goku. Goten and Trunks are gonna learn fusion, and an undisclosed part of this plan involves the Dragon Balls, which means it's time. Control is swapped to Trunks and Goten, and we set out to grab the Dragon Radar and go hunting. Now, when this happened, I groaned. I flashed back to Legacy of Goku 2 and the absolutely mind-numbing tedium of collecting the Dragon Balls, but I was wrong. I expected the same pace-breaking fetch quest shenanigans, but here, each Dragon Ball has a unique location with unique characters and unique things to do. Dare I say it was kind of fun. One of them has us infiltrating this ninja stronghold hidden in a forest. One has us going through the desert, finding hidden switches under destructible rocks to open the way to a cliff where we then fly down onto a train in order to stop an actual goddamn train robbery. Another puts us in an ancient Egyptian tomb filled with mummies where we gotta find the lost archaeologists and recover the treasure from deep inside. Jesus Christ, shit's getting wacky. Next, we gotta break into Pilaf's castle, smashing through walls and taking out Pilaf's super mech. Then we go to a massive airship being used by a bandit warlord who's trying to seize power, and after we take out the warlord, there's a self-destruct sequence where we have to haul ass out of the airship and... Wait. Why do we have to do this part? Couldn't Trunks and Goten just... fly off the... Never mind. Another of the Dragon Balls is in this bandit settlement that we have to equip a bandana to get into, because only bandits wear bandanas in this world, so if we have one, we must be some kind of no-good-nick. We get the Dragon Ball as a spoil from their latest raid, but then a goddamn monkey steals our bandana, and we have to slaughter the entire village to escape. The next Dragon Ball is... This might be my favorite one. Bear with me here. We head to this village that's been being terrorized by a monster that escaped from HFIL alongside a bunch of demons and stuff as a result of the problems Janemba is currently causing down there. The priest of the village has a Dragon Ball and agrees to give it to us if the monster is taken care of. So naturally, it's time to head into this forest and up this mountain, killing actual zombies along the way. And when we finally get to the peak of the mountain, it turns out that the monster is actually Broly. My brother in Christ, what? And then the priest doesn't honor his end of the bargain until we threaten him into it. What is this game? All the Dragon Balls are gathered, Shenron is summoned, Yamcha wishes everyone who died today back to life, but Goku arrives and tells Shenron to save that last wish. As it turns out, Goku had planned to save both wishes in case they were needed later. With time and safety running short, Goku teleports the gang up to Kami's lookout and breaks the news that Vegeta is dead and Gohan is presumed dead. Naturally, this upsets everyone. Ain't got time for that though, cause Babidi hijacks the entire planet's thoughts and spreads a telepathic message demanding to know the identities of Trunks, Goten, and Piccolo. Unfortunately for our heroes, the mother of one of the kids Trunks beat in the tournament is super salty and immediately gives up Trunks' name and address. Trunks just got telepathically doxxed, and now Babidi and Buu are headed to Capsule Corp. Not wanting Trunks' grandparents and innocent employees enemies to be killed. Okay, it's mostly to save the Dragon Radar. Goku heads to intercept and stall for time. This gives us the GBA version of Goku's classic Super Saiyan demonstration, educating Buu on Super Saiyan, Ascended Super Saiyan, and after a really intense transformation, the debut of Super Saiyan 3. Bro, it's so wild. We only just got someone other than Goku using this thanks to Daima. Always been my second favorite form, and one I wish was used more and given more time to shine. That's not important. So Super Saiyan 3 Goku throws down with Buu a bit, and Buu is so happy about this little playdate. You could even say he's tickled pink. Goku plays some mind games and gets Buu to thinking, why should he be taking orders from this sad little toad Bobbity? So Buu has this great idea. Just kill him. Now Buu is free to do whatever a Buu wants to do. Meanwhile, Goku's time on Earth is almost up, so we gotta double time Trunks and Goten's fusion training if we want any hope of taking down Buu. This little button matching minigame that accompanies any fusion is a neat little way of making the fusion more engaging for the player, and I appreciate it. What I don't appreciate is the newly fused Gotenks getting way too cocky and taking off to fight Buu right now. The fight's the same as ever, but story-wise, Gotenks is laid out. Trunks and Goten returning to Kami's lookout to apologize and recommit to training and fighting smarter. While they do that, Mr. Satan sets off to take out Buu. It does not work, but he manages to befriend Buu along with a lost puppy and makes Buu understand that destroying and killing people is bad. But we got Janemba to talk about. Fitting neatly into chronology, Goku returns to the otherworld to find that it is all kinds of fucked up. The extremely powerful Janemba has been freed thanks to the soul cleansing tank incident we witnessed earlier, and oh, I love this. Getting to explore through all the places in Otherworld, walking through HFIL and fighting creatures while Janemba occasionally rips open a portal and tries to sucker punch you. We even get to go to heaven and find Dabura. He's looking, interesting. Your boy Dabura done got reformed. Even gives you a high-level piece of equipment as a gesture of goodwill. Good for him. So, we gotta find Vegeta here in HFIL so we can team up and fight Janemba. I don't like any part of this. Thankfully, he goes down after about 5 hits and I don't have to look at his pulsating stomach anymore. Now we got a bigger problem though.
Oh no, he's hot!
Janemba goes down again in about 5 hits, except no, he actually takes out Goku and Vegeta pretty easily, making the pair resort to using the fusion dance. And so Gogeta is born. Too bad it's extremely short-lived and Janemba goes down in 4 attacks this time, ending this little arc with the balance of Otherworld restored, and so we have our happy ending to- wait, Buu. Back to Buu. This dude shoots Hercule while he's hanging with Buu. Thankfully, Buu is magic and heals Hercule, but Buu is still furious. He yells at Hercule to get away before it's too late, and his rage reaches a breaking point, resulting in all of Buu's evil taking physical form. After the two exchange blows, the evil Buu wins, turning good Buu into chocolate, eating him, and taking on the sinister form of Super Buu. While that's going down, Goku finds Gohan alive and well, training on the Supreme Kai's planet with the legendary Z-Sword, which is almost immediately snapped in half while trying to cut a block of catchite, the hardest thing in existence. Stop laughing. But sealed inside the Z-Sword was the Elder Supreme Kai. He is old as hell, but he can unlock the true potential of fighters, which he agrees to do for Gohan after Goku offers him Bulma. This is so bad in so many ways. And wait a minute, didn't Guru already unlock Gohan's potential back in the Frieza saga? Or was that Krillin? Well, whatever. We're back to Kami's lookout where Goten and Trunks are trying to get some rest. Ain't got time for that though, because Super Buu is here and he's demanding the fight he was promised. Even though he's a full day early, he doesn't give a shit. He wants a fight now. Piccolo manages to buy just 1 hour for them. So to make the most of that hour, the boys head to the hyperbolic time chamber. Inside of it, time flows differently, with every minute in the outside world equating to 6 hours in the chamber. This is a neat little part of the game just because you get to wander around the hyperbolic time chamber. If you check the map, the main area is just surrounded by question marks, and I'm sure there's some kind of hidden something here, but I didn't have the desire to suss it out. Walking around to different parts of the chamber has a Cursed Woods type of vibe, where if you take a wrong turn or go too far, everything just loops back to the entrance. Other than that, you spar with Goten, practice fusion a bit, and it's over faster than my last one night stand. Buu is out of patience. He is done waiting and is gonna start killing if Piccolo doesn't take him to the fight that he was promised. So thinking ahead, Piccolo takes Buu to the time chamber on the line of thought that if Gotenks fails to beat Buu, he can just trap all of them in the pocket dimension of the time chamber for all eternity, which is a good backup plan, but Gotenks doesn't know about it, and that will very quickly become a problem, just like me at the family Christmas party. You might wonder how it's going to be a problem. Well, Gotenks is comprised of two cocky children who think good warriors drag out fights as long and dramatically as possible thanks to manga and anime. As a result, they fight Buu for a bit, feign defeat, and before they can reveal their trump card, Piccolo blows up the entrance in an abundance of caution. Well, that's one way to solve the Buu problem, except it's not. Buu's fury is so great. His anger over not having access to sweets is so overwhelming that he screams loud enough to rip a hole in space that allows him to escape back to the outside world. Such is the power of his craving for sugar. Thankfully, Gotenks can go Super Saiyan 3 and also casually rips a hole in space to pursue Buu. Not before Buu turns everyone on the lookout into candy and eats him though. An epic battle between Super Buu and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks unfolds, but just as Gotenks is about to finish Buu, the fusion ends. These children are about to die. Not to worry though, a now powered up Gohan appears and beats the hell out I can't with these animations. Buu's got a plan though. He blows himself up. It's actually a great plan though, because he can leave some bits of him hidden around the area as he reforms. So after goading Trunks and Goten into reforming Gotenks, one of his bits pops up and absorbs them, and even Piccolo, giving Buu incredible power and intellect that outclasses even Ultimate Gohan. In a last-ditch effort, the Elder Supreme Kai sacrifices his own remaining life force so that Goku can be resurrected and head down to Earth. We got one hope here, and it's Goku using Potara earrings to permanently fuse with Gohan. You think that would make his marriage weird? Gohan fumbles the earring though, and Buu seizes that opportunity to absorb Gohan and become damn near unstoppable. But hope has arrived. Due to the absolutely dire situation, King Yama sends Vegeta to Earth to try and help. Now if Goku can just convince Vegeta to fuse, Buu can be taken down. Much like my life, this fight took me a bit to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. And just like my life, what I was supposed to be doing was teleporting. Buu will hop around on these pillars throwing attacks down at you. You will dodge, and Vegeta, I don't know, tries to remember where he parked. What you're meant to do is time your instant transmission to scare Buu into falling down and doing whatever the hell this is. After each time, we're treated to some dialogue of Goku pleading with Vegeta to fuse with him so they actually have a chance against Buu. This goes back and forth a few times before Vegeta finally agrees after Goku tells him that Buu literally ate his only son, and so the ultimate warrior is born, Vegito. This leads into another very short fight with Ultimate Buu, culminating in Vegito letting himself get eaten in an attempt to rescue the others from inside. It's interesting that the most unique area in the game is Buu himself. Everything in here is wonderfully fleshy. The enemies are polyps and blood cells, the ground is organ tissue, and the water is bodily fluids. The main mechanics here are finding and destroying these,
pelvic splanchnic ganglion
to open sphincters to other parts of Buu. Eventually, you'll travel through Buu's intestines to find our friends in their stomach pod things, and you have to fight a copy of them. Thank God they don't copy stats too, or my entire run might have been stopped here. Cooked by my own kitchen. First is a copy of Gotenks, then a copy of Gohan, then Piccolo, and finally we come to a pod with Fat Buu in it, guarded by Super Buu himself, somehow. This is a straightforward slugfest of a fight that actually presented a bit of a challenge. Afterwards, the gang dips out of Buu along with all the pod people, and Buu takes on his final and purest form. Pure unthinking, unfeeling, undiluted evil. His power is immense and untouchable. To me, Kid Buu might be the most perfect DBZ villain. He's almost a mirror of Goku. Goku is immensely pure, kind-hearted, and a fighting genius, propelled forward by his sense of justice and desire to protect. Kid Buu is pure evil, heartless, and also a fighting genius, driven by a mindless instinct to destroy and kill with utter abandon. Both of them have a childlike and whimsical feeling to them, with Goku's being more warm and fuzzy, and Buu's being cold and offbeat, and I just love his design. I don't know, I like effective simplicity in character design. As this all is happening, the Supreme Kai reveals why this transformation happened. See, long ago, Buu absorbed the leader of the Kais, an incredibly kind and portly fellow whose influence changed Buu into his more rotund and good-hearted form. Now, without that inside of him, Buu has returned to his natural state. This is the point of no return, and the game tells you that if you need to prepare or have things to take care of, now might be the time, and to come back when you're ready to kick off the finale, which I was ready to do. So Buu immediately destroys the Earth. Thankfully, Goku manages to instant transition himself, Vegeta, Hercule, and Dende to the Supreme Kai's planet just in time. Buu, however, is now teleporting around the universe, destroying planets and searching for Goku and Vegeta. So to stop this, all that can be done is to lure him to the Supreme Kai's planet. The first to fight, as decided by the almighty rock, paper, scissors, is Goku. And yeah, even as Super Saiyan 3, with my broken stats, Buu is tough. So Goku tags in Vegeta. Both of these fights were interesting since my usual tactic didn't really work here. Buu can now use instant transmission, and whenever I cornered him or stunlocked him too much, he teleported away and retaliated. It still wasn't too much of a challenge, but this game has been keeping me on my toes. After that, Vegeta monologues a bit to himself, finally admitting that Goku is just better. We fight as Goku one more time. It's more of the same, but now Buu can shadow clone himself. Once that's over, Vegeta agrees to stall Buu for just 1 minute so Goku can regain enough energy to finish Buu. And yeah, we have to just survive for a full minute. Thankfully, I also was maxing out the endurance on Vegeta, so even when Buu hit me, it did little to no damage, so this was pretty much a breeze. It's not working though. Goku underestimated his ability to recover, having gotten too used to the other world. Showing his true heroism though, Mr. Satan steps up to confront Buu. This causes Kid Buu to spit out Fat Buu. Wait, am I remembering wrong? Wasn't Fat Buu already taken out of Kid? Whatever. Now Fat Buu is throwing down with Buu the Kid. While this is happening, Vegeta comes up with a plan. He calls out to Dende and the Elder Kai to gather the Namekian Dragon Balls. He has them make 2 wishes to Purunga. One, to restore the Earth. The second, to bring back everyone who died in this whole incident, except for the evil ones, that is. And for the third wish, Vegeta just kinda leaves it hanging. His plan is to have Goku use the Spirit Bomb, using the energy of everyone and everything on planet Earth. King Kai helps out and lets Vegeta speak telepathically to everyone on Earth, pleading for them to give all the energy that they can. They're not very receptive though, and Vegeta heads to Buu to stall for time. It's another survive for a minute bit, same as the first. I ended up just letting Buu hit me with Kamehamehas since they didn't do any real damage to me and it stalled him pretty effectively. Plus by this point, I had a metric ton of healing items just in case things went sideways. My voice is dying. I'm not used to talking this long. Even with the extra time though, the people of Earth are being, well, people of Earth. They're fucking dumb and stubborn. Until Hercule steps in and speaks to them, knowing the faith they have in him and using that to convince them all to give up their energy. With a fully charged Spirit Bomb, Goku hurls it at Buu. Goku's too drained though. Buu is pushing it back. Buu is about to win. But then, Vegeta uses his final wish to Purunga to restore Goku to full strength. The final minigame starts where you have to mash the A button as fast as humanly possible, and Jesus, this was a workout. I was on this for a full 2 minutes, mashing so fast I was starting to sweat and my hand was cramping. I was wondering if I was doing something wrong, but finally, it's over. Goku pushes the Spirit Bomb onto Buu and completely annihilates every tiny bit of him, wiping his evil out of existence forever. As Buu dies, Goku asks for him to be reborn as someone good. The fight is over. Goku summons Shenron and wishes for everyone on Earth to forget about Buu, and we're free to roam around and do side stuff. Or we can start the final sequence of the game. The final fight segment was pretty great. It was a smart decision to make it function so differently from the rest of the game. It effectively stops people like me from breaking the game in a way that would take away from the finale, though I did still succeed in making it far less difficult and engaging, but I'm just too chaotic, I guess. Before we fully wrap the story, Hercule exhibits and Z-Fighter exhibits. What are they? Well, throughout the game you can find crates with either an H or a Z on them, and by turning them into either the Hercule Museum or the Z Museum respectively, you can view various props that tie into the history of Hercule or the Z-Fighters. It's nothing super interesting, but it's neat enough as a little treat if you picked up some exhibits while playing the game. Nothing I would ever feel compelled to hunt for, but it's a nice little inclusion for maniacs and completionists. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that I missed in the game, but I wanted to write this review from the perspective of how I would play this game naturally. Now, to put a cap on everything, the final bit of the game sees the Z Gang having a party to celebrate the victory over Buu. Then it cuts to 10 years later. Things have been peaceful. Goku has a granddaughter in the form of Pan, and the whole gang is once again at the World Martial Arts Tournament. Buu has been living peacefully with his best friend Hercule. Goten has been busy being a fuckboy. Trunks is Trunks, not a lot to say there. And Goku has Buu use his magic to rig the matchings in the tournament so he can fight this kid Oob, the reincarnation of Kid Buu. Turns out King Yemma heard Goku's request for Buu to be reborn as someone good, and this kid is that kid. Buu. Kid is Kid Buu. A fight scene plays out. Goku invites himself to Oob's village to train him, which I always found really funny, and the credits roll as Goku is credited as the greatest martial arts master in the universe. Damn, what a game. After looking at the Metacritic scores, I had no idea what to expect, especially because they had Legacy of Goku 2 much higher rated than Buu's Fury. Having played it though, what the hell were they smoking and where can I get some of it? This is leagues better than the second game, and it's not even a comparison with respect to the first Legacy of Goku. Everything was so refined, focused, and improved here. The pacing, the controls, the mechanics, even just the presentation and characterization was head and shoulders above the other two games. If we're answering all my questions from the start of this video, was it good? Oh my god, yes. If you're a DBZ fan, or even just a fan of retro action RPGs, you should definitely play this one. It has its rough edges, and it wasn't the most engaging, but overall, this is a good game. It doesn't overstay its welcome either. My playthrough only took about 10 hours, and it flew by. I had fun the entire way through, and I think you will too. Or I have bad taste and you'll be disappointed. I don't know. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. It would mean the world to me if you drop a comment, a like, and of course a sub. And as always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters for the constant support. You all are amazing people. If you'd like to support, link is in the description, along with the Discord and my Blue Sky. Now, this is where I normally end the video. However, if you've seen my previous upload, you know things are, well, not looking good for me right now. I don't want to be a YouTuber who begs for help all the time, but if you do want to help, and only if you have the means to do so, don't feel pressured, my GoFundMe link is in the description too. No matter what, though, I'm not going to give up on creating, and to everyone who's already donated, I truly cannot thank you enough. Until next time, everyone, I love each and every one of you, and have a good night. Maybe I'll cover transformation.